Hey everyone, this is Dee. I am coming to you from Player Sports and Entertainment, where we cover sports, entertainment, and hot topics with a focus on getting her perspective. So today I want to talk to y'all a little bit about this raging debate that has been going on for the past couple of days with RG3 and Ryan Clark RC. So for those of you who don't know, there was a flagrant foul against Caitlin Clark in one of the opening games for the WNBA. And of course, because it's Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, there's been a lot of debate about the foul and, was it the right call? Was it intentional? Was Angel Reese's, was her response appropriate? All the things. But I just want to take a little bit of a different take on it. So I'll break this down into like 3 parts. And I've taken some notes. I've watched both men's tape in their entirety. RG3 and Ryan Clark from the Pivot podcast. So I'll start off with sort of my premise of the argument and what I think of that. And then I'll talk a little bit about RG3 brought up the rivalry between Michael Jordan and Isaiah Thomas, which made basketball great back in the day. And then I'll pivot a little bit and talk about race in America and just, what may be behind certain things. So to start out, this is not an attack on either gentleman. I actually agree and disagree with both on various points. Just listening to them. But to start out with like the premise of these arguments. So for RG3, there's a lot that I could say about his commentary, but I want to stick to just logic and facts. So he discussed Angel Reese's reaction and said that in my notes he started the podcast saying that Angel Reese clearly hates Caitlin Clark, right? And then as it opened up, he went on to talk about like the hate in her heart for Caitlin Clark and all of this. Excuse me too, my allergies might be acting up a little bit. But yeah, so that take to me, that was like an attack on her integrity as a woman, as a person, as a human. Because if she hasn't said that to us, where exactly are we getting it from? I think that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese has brought something great to, they brought it first to college basketball, women's college basketball, and then it translated over into the WNBA, right? Their competitiveness, their aggression on the court, their skill level, right? So all these things have contributed to a spike in interest in watching the WNBA. I do think that they are competitors, and I do think that as competitors, when you play a sport, you understand that I am not a fan of yours right now. Like, I'm just not. I don't care who you are. I'm on the court. You are not my friend at the moment. You are my enemy. I think to go as far as to say that Angel Reese hates her, I think that took it pretty far, and I feel like that was a personal attack. And I mentioned that to begin because I was really surprised when RG3 took the approach or the perspective that Ryan Clark took it too far when mentioning his wife. So there are so many layers to this. But yes, Ryan Clark commented that, RG3 doesn't know what black women go through, what our struggles are. And he said, RG3 has been married to 2 white women, and so he doesn't have those conversations at home. A lot of people chimed in talking about his black mom, things like that. I have my very specific opinions and views on that. But RC, Ryan Clark, also mentioned that he'd met RG3's wife and that he thought she was a lovely woman. But I feel like Ryan Clark was stating fact. Like, right? Like, I can't tell you what it's like to raise white children. I don't have them. I don't know. Like, I can try to understand, I can try to empathize, but I feel like things hit differently when it hits home, right? So you can have as much empathy and compassion and understanding for someone, a stranger in a news story. But when it happens to the person you sleep next to at night, when it happens to your child, your parent, your sibling, like, it just hits different. So with that being said, like, I agree with Ryan Clark. Like, you don't have those conversations. You don't know what it's like for our generation, our race, our women to deal with the things that we deal with. Like, your mom is of another generation, so even if you're having those conversations with her, it's different, you know. So I feel like just admitting that, that's okay. So start there. But I don't think Ryan Clark said anything that was an attack. And so a lot of people are saying, like, oh, you don't bring it to the spouse and the children. I get that. And if RG3 wants to take that stance on it, well, you don't attack my integrity, right? So it is a personal attack in his perspective of what Ryan Clark said regarding his wife. So why is it not a personal attack on Angel Reese's integrity, her character, just because she's a competitor? She's never said that she hated Caitlin Clark. They have never said that. Like, they have complimented each other. Yes, RG3 mentioned some things about Angel Reese saying that, you know, she'll play the villain. It's brought a lot of attention to the WNBA, and it's true. Like, I agree with Ryan Clark saying that Asia Wilson, South Carolina girl, she is the face of the WNBA, and Caitlin Clark is the most important player. And as skilled as Angel Reese is, and as much as I love to watch her, like, it's the Angel Reese Caitlin Clark rivalry that has brought so many people. Now, I'll talk about why so many people have come in a second, but that rivalry is what has brought a lot of attention to the sport. So anyway, taking all of that, point number one, RG3's argument of Ryan Clark making a personal attack, I think that that's so insufficient, just off of the strength of you made a personal attack upon Angel Reese to start with. So personal attack should be open season for personal attacks, in my opinion. Just saying. So number two, I want to get into this Michael Jordan, Isaiah Thomas rivalry, which I think has always been great. I'm of a certain age where I grew up when the NBA was like it, right? So you had Michael Jordan dominating, but you came up in that era of Jordan, Bird, Johnson, Isaiah Thomas was there, Muggsy Bogues, Dennis Rodman comes along, of course Pippen. Like, you had this time period of a euphoric type of game. I mean, it was great. You collected basketball cards, you know, all the things. Well, I get what he was trying to say with Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan has been very clear that he hates Isaiah Thomas. He has said it himself. He admits to it, but he also says he respects Isaiah Thomas. So I don't want us to miss that part. Like, MJ says he hates him, but he also says he respects him. So let's keep that in perspective. And he brings up, you know, Isaiah Thomas being kept off of the Dream Team because of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, I think it was in The Last Dance, where he talks about how he never did that. But Michael Jordan makes this argument of if people want to make him out to be the villain as though he kept Isaiah Thomas off of that team, he's fine with that. Sounds like someone else we know, right? Angel Reese. Angel Reese has said that on multiple occasions, but RG3 takes issue with Angel Reese saying that she'll be the villain, but he doesn't seem to take issue with Michael Jordan doing it. I think he says that Michael Jordan admits that that he says that he hates Isaiah Thomas. So Angel Reese should just come out and say she hates Caitlin Clark. But my thing is, if I don't hate someone, I don't have to say it just because you want me to say it. Um, yeah, that's sort of far-fetched to me, but here we are. Also, I think that it's prudent to mention that with the MJ Isaiah Thomas beef, Michael Jordan had pretty good reason. Like, Isaiah Thomas was real clear, I'm trying to disrespect you in what he did by walking off the court. So, I mean, they had their rivalry. Yes, it increased viewership and brought some excitement to the game, and we all flocked to it, right? So you have that, but you also have the fact that reportedly Pippen, Johnson, Bird also did not want Isaiah Thomas on the Dream Team. So like Jordan said, he never said, I don't want him here or I won't play. But you can imagine if you had to determine, like, okay, who are we putting on this team? Okay, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Scottie Pippen, and Larry Bird. Like, none of them wanted him on the team. So it would have made for a different team dynamic. And so that very well was more likely the reason that he was not on that team, right? So the MJ Isaiah Thomas beef, I think that it's similar insofar as it increases viewership. It's exciting for the game, brings more attention to the game. It's reported upon more because of these two ladies. But outside of that, I think these are two different things we're talking about, because Michael Jordan is very clear about how he feels about Isaiah Thomas, and that is that he hates him, but he respects him. I think that Angel Reese very much respects Caitlin Clark, and I don't think that Angel Reese hates her. And I won't say that she hates her until she says it herself. And that's where I feel like RG3 went left on this. So that's that comparison that I took issue with. And the final thing that I think everyone is, that we're all talking about here, right, is the issue of race. I've heard all the things from Ryan Clark has, one of his children is by a white woman. RG3 has been married to 2 white women. His wife was sitting in the background clapping and nodding and all these things. Like, so let me start here. Like, that part is what it is. Like, right, we're gonna always have these conversations, and it's good to have productive conversations around race in this nation especially. But what was frustrating, it's not a strong enough word, what really offended me as a black woman was, if you all watch the podcast of RG3 in its entirety, there's a part where he mimics like what coaches will say to players about fouling, you know, and the way he imitates a coach, you can very clearly tell that he's imitating a black coach. And he puts on this, to me it felt very much like a minstrel show. I'll be very blunt about it, right? And I wouldn't have said that except for the second time he mimicked someone. He mimicked Angel Reese with the head bobbing, arms moving, all that stuff. And he didn't do it in a way in which to honor either party. It was to make fun of them or to belittle them. We could say, and I feel like that's the part for me where he lost me, because I won't speculate because I don't know him. But it felt like something that I would not do out of respect for another human being. I think it's something that if it were a white man doing that, many of us would be up in arms about it. Like I said, it was very offensive to me. But in addition to that, I thought about unconscious bias and, you know, the stereotype of the angry black woman, that trope that we've all heard so much about. And I feel like he is playing into that. And to pull back into a broader lens, it's very much, as the young people say, giving. It is very much giving. Um, that's how you've been programmed in this nation, and it's not just RG3, right? It's a lot of us who have been programmed to go along with what we've been told. And that issue of race brings me to the unfortunate part of why many of us have speculated that the WNBA has gained so much popularity. And that's because instead of people saying, you know, I want to see these two really great competitors go at it on the court, unfortunately, it's turning into a I'm white, I'm Team Caitlyn, I'm black, I'm Team Angel Reese. When they're just Team Win, like they're just competitive. And I love every second of that part of it, right? But when you look at this country and you think about, one of my favorite law school professors told us to keep thinking about things in the context of capitalism, patriarchy, and racism, right? Like those three structures and systems in this nation, you can almost find it at the pit in the bottom of everything, right? So I want us to keep that at the forefront of our minds as we go through this debate with RG3 and Ryan Clark. I have heard all the things about, you know, RG3's wife being in the back, clapping and nodding. I'll be honest, I was listening to the podcast more than watching it. So I didn't see the part where she clapped. I saw her nodding a great deal. I saw their girls coming in and out. But it's unfortunate that RG3 is going so far as to say that if this is true, I haven't heard RG3 say this, but talking about Ryan Clark and his job at ESPN, if he's really going after that, I think that's unfortunate. And it's quite sad as far as like you as a human being being able to give a personal attack but not being able to take one. So I think he should really reconsider before he attacks someone's integrity and their character in a sport, which, you know, you have all sorts of opinions around sports. Mine, his, everyone else in between, right? Like, that's what this is about. That's sort of what makes it fun. You want to talk trash. You want to go back and forth with someone. Yeah, I can't roll with him I can't roll with you when you're wrong, right? I'll ride with you if you're right. I'll ride with you if you're coming from a moral stance that I can rock with. But this one right here, you cannot, as my grandma used to say, a hit dog will holler, right? So call it what you want. But I feel like RG3 hollered, and I also feel like RG3 can dish it, but he can't take it. So here we are. I mean, so I'd love to hear your take on this debate. Like, if you look at the layers and the complexities of it all, I think it's more than what RG3 is even able to admit at the moment. I love these debates, but I'm also very much exhausted. And when I say I'm exhausted, I'm thinking like I'm exhausted from having, you know, the intent of myself and other black women, black people, you know, marginalized groups in general, being judged without just asking me directly. Like, RG3 should just ask Angel Reese, do you hate Caitlyn Clark? And let her answer be her answer. Take her word for it. I'm exhausted from other races being granted like a type of grace in this nation that I doubt I'll ever live long enough to see. I'm exhausted from having, you know, this self-inflicted naivety of people acting as though they don't know that there are systems and structures put in place to continue to demonize people, women who look like me. And I'm just exhausted from people pitting two ball players against one another and then placing their hateful thoughts and feelings on these ladies. So I I am exhausted from that, but I'm also very much invigorated. So I'm invigorated to see women thriving and women's sports thriving. I'm invigorated to see these two ladies bringing like this passion and competitive nature to the sport that is very much reminiscent of the NBA in the 80s and 90s. And I'm proud, that my sons are now excited to watch the WNBA just as much as they are to watch the NBA. Which I mean, hey, like you gotta take it all in stride, right? So yeah, I'm exhausted, but I'm also excited and invigorated. So let me know what y'all think, and I will talk to you soon.